So I think the reason why it doesn't feel like there's much to talk about anymore is because this is more of an absence. So you can tell stories about what has left, what I thought was real, what I thought I wanted, who I thought I wanted to become, what I thought was important or meaningful, what I thought mattered. And it's a lot of stuff. It's like a variety of things, seemingly. Yeah. And so within those ups and downs, having meaning, um, losing the meaning, gaining a different meaning, gaining experiences, feeling bored and feeling like nothing's happening, I'm not becoming something. And then it always goes up and down. It's never just still. It's never just what is. I mean, it is, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels like it's constantly moving and I'm constantly gaining and losing and experiencing all this variety. There's more intensity of feeling, or maybe it's not intensity, it's just that I think that's me. And the story that is created around what it means feels more real. It feels like that's reality, the only reality. And so, what most people are doing is trying to fix their problems within that, thinking that there is a way to feel safe and comfortable and okay within that. And I would say for a lot of people who don't have a longing for true peace or the end of this kind of friction in life, this internal friction that is constantly happening, if that's not really there, I would say it's wonderful if there could be an enjoyment in those ups and downs, because the absence of all of that is not something that is desirable or wantable. There's no sense that exists in that way anymore. It's, it's just absence, but it's not as scary as that. Life still happens, the body still has needs. I would say that life is able to be really experienced just as it is. Yeah, it's hard to describe. It's not special necessarily. And I don't notice it unless I talk about it, unless I actually think about it. It's not really noticed. But when there is a reflection onto what this is like now, it is really nice to not have that clutter. And I could only see that it was clutter because it's so empty here now. But when that was happening, it wasn't really registered as clutter. It was it was also just what it was in a way, even though there was a lot of friction and discomfort trying to get somewhere, trying to fix something always. Um, it's not a bad thing. It's not a wrong thing. It's equally this. It doesn't matter if it goes. But I guess what's seen is that there is um, a stillness or a beauty that is, it's always here, but it's not able to be really appreciated when there is that clutter because you can't really sense it for very long, at least. It becomes more of a fleeting thing. It becomes another maybe experience. But here it feels like it's more of a constant. It's the only thing. So then it doesn't matter if the mind is chatty or feelings are strong. There could be resistance to it. There could be discomfort around it. But yeah, it doesn't mean anything. So I guess it's really subtle, but just noticing what traveling is like now, it's just quite different from how it was before because I don't really care about experiences. I don't care about seeing things. It can happen, it can be enjoyed, but it's not important. Um, I don't get the fulfillment out of it anymore. It's equally just what is. It's almost as equal as if I was just, home. Um, and I noticed, seeing friends and having dinner, it was nice, but it was also not needed. I could just really feel what it does to the body. I wasn't even really trying to make conversation. I was mostly just naturally quiet, I guess, but I could see what it does to the body to be in interaction with people in that way. And it just simply didn't seem that necessary. And there was a tiny bit of sadness, and it went quickly, but it felt like, wow, I really don't need that anymore. It's not going to be about having friends and maintaining friendships and having experiences with them. That isn't important anymore. There isn't the energy to sustain that anymore. So I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I will probably still see friends, but It definitely has a different sense to it. I guess in a way you can say there's nothing more delicious than this. I remember thinking a while ago that it was just such a relief, and it was nice that that mental torture of what you can label as hating oneself, like the intense criticism. I remember thinking like that was nice that at least that was gone. And then it continued to empty out. More and more just kind of keeps falling away. And it's just noticed that things have gone or they don't pop up anymore or attention doesn't really go to it anymore. And another thing that's kind of nice is that you can still think about the future. You can still somewhat plan for the future. It's not that it's impossible, but it is less real. It does appear less frequently because it just doesn't. I just don't think the mind goes there naturally as much anymore. Of course, it can worry about certain things and maybe some plans can be made and but it's not a consistent reality anymore. The future or the past, it's not a constant. But before it kind of was. It felt like there was a progression and there was a literal timeline. There was a life that I had lived and am living and will live. Um, it just so the thoughts just don't go there as much. And it's a nice thing. It's nice that, and I don't think about it, but just hearing some friends talk about their future plans and where they want to move next and their retirement. And it's not that those things um, are bad or anything, but there was just a noticing that it's a relief that I don't really worry about it in that way. But I just want to say that sometimes if people hear that, then they try to disregard the future. But that's not what I mean. It's like there's still the conditioning to, for instance, save money. That still happens. But it's not like I'm really, it has a different feel. It just feels like that's the functioning of this body. That's how it's habituated or conditioned. I guess it doesn't have the extra layer of fear around it. And it kind of feels more like there's a vast openness that just is. I don't really know what it is, it just is. And then there can be these perhaps little worries or little fears or concerns and reminiscing of what could have been the things that I had dreamt of before. Like they can still arise and they're seen and they're not a problem. But in layers, it makes sense that there would be a little bit of sadness or like grieving in different ways, different layers of everything that was important here, of everything that I held dearly or thought it could be. Yeah. And then it's strange that it's like I wouldn't want it any other way. I wouldn't trade this for anything. And I don't know if everyone would feel that way, but there is a understanding that all of that wanting and clutter and dreams, it came with a lot of suffering, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of insecurity, a lot of not enoughness, a lot of continuation and never settling, never being. And it's exhausting. It does make you want to escape. It makes you want to do drugs or drink or do weed. Like it makes sense. Those are these temporary escapes from how burdensome all of that can be. It just makes sense. And so when you see that that stuff isn't needed anymore, so if I do something like that, it actually makes me feel a lot worse. It's like it takes energy from me. It doesn't help me relax more because I feel like the body's already relaxed. But I can see how for the person, it will take away the burden, at least for a moment. It will create a sense of absence of themselves, give them a little breather. Yeah. And again, I don't see anything wrong with it necessarily. I just understand why those things seem enticing. So basically, it's kind of nice that I can't judge anyone. I know where it comes from. I can understand the longing to escape, the longing to just have some rest, the longing to feel safe. So if anyone would like to interact, you're welcome to raise your hand. And just take your time. You don't need to, the conversation doesn't need to go anywhere. You can just express whatever's there. Hey, Simon.
Hey, Suzanne.
How are
Oh,
you?
sorry. I'm just going to change my view so I can see you better.
Okay.
The speaker. There we go. Hi.
Hi.
Wow. I love your talk this morning. Oh boy. I used to relate to so much of what you're saying.
Mm,
Ah, that was just great. Just great to just sort of hear that. It's like, oh, yeah, yeah. Um, I got a question. Um, I'm sort of exploring a bit. I guess I would call it will. Personal will, like this desire that comes up to like this, don't like this, like don't like that, and then trying to somehow change. Um, I have things my way, have things occur my way.
mm,
I'm just sort of looking at that and being with it, and I could feel it start to sort of unravel a little bit, and it's very lovely. At a certain point, I had a couple of days where wow, I don't know what the hell happened, but something just sort of something wasn't there that was there before. And
mm,
I just didn't have any problem with anything or anybody. Zero. Like, oh, it is what it is.
mm.
And it's very sweet. And then, sorry, and then right after that, I had, uh, I guess, anxiety or just fear. Like, holy shit, I haven't, fear. Like, oh my God, just Like I was like afraid of life. Like everything frightened me.
Mm.
Like yeah, it felt like safety. Felt like just freaked out about safety. I think I had a very abusive childhood, and I don't know. I started journaling a little bit about it, and I think that might have been related, but it almost felt deeper than that, though. It almost felt like just being in a body, and there's an inherent sort of lack of safety because it can get sick and die,
Mm.
or be injured, or or somebody can hurt my feelings, or everything, all of it.
Yeah.
Did you ever experience that? Like, I've had a few rounds of that, and when it happens, it really gets my attention. I'll tell you that.
Mm.
Really strong.
Yeah.
I don't feel it right now, but boy,
Yeah, it's intense, huh?
very.
Yeah.
Wow. So it sounds like, yeah, you've had some rounds of that or something.
Yeah, it feels very I don't know if biological is the right word. Like it has
Yeah,
it's just like you at being a human, like existing I don't know if it's like in this body, you just feel how vulnerable it really is.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you have that? I'm just here. I don't know. I just would to hear from. Yeah. Did you have like? For me, it's when it's happening, when it's sort of up and full experience of it is what I notice actually is my reaction to try to control everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's what comes up. Like I want to just control everything, like a pen on my desk, or just anything. It's just insane, absolutely
Mm.
bonkers. And then I kind of finally kind of notice what's going on. First, I think it's everything out there, and then I go, oh no, wow, it's all happening in here. And then if I just kind of rest with it, it's sort of I just have to feel it. But yeah, I don't know. And it just sort of calms
Mm.
down. I don't know. Any of that, does that,
Yeah, I think it's going to be different for everyone, but a story that comes to mind is when I was living alone in Philadelphia. I didn't have
yeah,
any friends and family.
yeah,
My body was like aching to just be in contact with another human body, and
yeah,
it felt like it was dying.
yeah,
It felt very nothing to do with anything but the survival instincts of the body.
yeah.
And I felt like I was rotting inside.
Oh,
And
shit.
that was the instinct to really move to back home, like with
Ah,
people
right.
I feel really comfortable with, because it was no longer about anything else but just uh yeah, physically what it's really doing to my body. And I'm
Yeah,
sure that it acted out in weird ways because of that. And for instance, like maybe binge watching things just to get comfort in that way.
yeah.
But I didn't,
To kind of soothe.
yeah, to soothe it, at least
Yeah,
somehow,
yeah,
a bit of it.
sure.
And I was very needy with my friend, probably
Yeah,
like very, very needy.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it was like super uncomfortable.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, but when you see stuff like that, isn't it obvious that when you see the person trying to fix, I don't know, their perfectionism or their need to control things, doesn't it kind of make you feel like I just get it? There's like no desire to change people in that way because you know how deep it goes.
yeah,
And it's just like once you see how energetic it actually is, how
yeah,
biological it actually is, it's like
yeah.
what are we doing trying to like stop that stuff or
Right.
label it as like wrong or like dysfunctional or
Bad.
you're in charge of that and
Right.
by it.
Oh my God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, totally, totally. Like you would never do that to like a dog.
No.
Right. You never apply those rules and criteria to a dog or a cat or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I apply those rules to myself when I'm in one of these panic modes. I'm kind of like, I do. I sort of turn it on myself until I catch it and I go, oh, wait, whoa, 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 wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Mm,
Yeah, these bodies, they have their own instincts or something, survival and
hmm.
contact and
Yeah.
did you ever yeah, one last question. Did you was there any point in your journey where you sort of felt like you were, oh, I don't know how to say it. This is going to come up wrong probably, but like I said, I'm sort of looking at will, like, oh, I want this, you know, uh, I want well, kind of the opposite of what you were just saying, but I want this person to behave in a different way, for example, or I want uh, making money to be easier. It could be a broad thing like that, or even it could be anything. Really, could be anything. And it's I can see that it's such a that when those thoughts arise and I sort of believe them, they're immediately what do I say? Immediately sort of presupposing that there's a me here, that that's all happening to. So I can see the sort of it has that dual function of there's something in the world that's over there, and there's a me that's over here, and we're sort of battling for, I don't know, it's a crazy thing. I haven't,
Mm, mm,
then when I look, if I pause for a second and just sort of look, I see, oh, none of that's true. There's no me, there's no there, or this. But in the moment, I can really get caught in it and believe it.
yeah. I could be wrong, but I that kind of stuff happened for me too. Like there was an intensity of getting really lost in certain things. Um, but I feel like that's how it needs to express,
Yeah,
like it needs to come up in order
yeah,
to sort of lose its power because I think that yeah, I don't know if it's just the momentum that it had for so long. Um, and now that it's like there's a lot that has emptied out already. And so when a fear comes out, it's so obvious because
right.
there's like nothing and then the fear is so obvious. It's just like really intense and it doesn't really make sense, but you can't really stop it. It's just kind of
Yeah,
here and here if it's here and it consumes everything.
yeah,
So for me, like the fear of money came up a lot. And I think that's normal because
sure,
it's like a survival thing.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds just exactly how it is for me, like exactly like that, what you just described. Like, oh, there's not much going on at all, and then all of a sudden, whoa, and then that's kind of all there is.
Hmm. Yeah,
And then it kind of dies down. Like, oh, okay.
exactly.
It's funny how certain emotions can grab me, and other ones, I don't have any judgment on them. I'm not afraid of them. I don't dislike them. It can be anything, sad, anger, whatever. There's a whole bunch of emotions that can occur, and I just kind of, oh, and it doesn't cause any disturbance really.
Hmm.
But fear, that kind of fear, whoa, really grabs me. I really like, I was like, oh, no, 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 I don't want that, or I don't know, something, but yeah, I get caught in it.
Mm, yeah. I think for this body it was like uh yeah, I know that there was fear. Maybe it is kind of the same, but there was a lot of neediness. I think it's because I suppressed it. I think
Yeah,
naturally, like maybe there's a lot of affection and like wanting physical touch, but I think there was a real suppression of it
right.
for too long or
Yeah,
something
yeah, yeah.
that, yeah, it just feels like there was a lot of that or something.
That makes sense to me. 'Cause I think when I look, I feel like I've suppressed fear, that kind of fear somehow, whatever it is, it's survival fear. I think I've somehow I managed to compartmentalize it. Sort of like,
Mhm.
boop, it's in a little box somewhere behind me.
Mm,
So yeah, we all compartmentalize or suppress something else probably.
that's
And then,
interesting.
yeah, yeah,
I think the biggest part of my identity was being independent. So, so a
yeah,
lot of my life decisions were about doing it by myself, when
right,
in truth, I needed help. I wanted support. I didn't want
yeah,
to do it on my own all the time.
yeah,
But most decisions in my life was like, no, I want to do it by myself.
right.
So I think there was just like, yeah, a whole lifetime of not getting the support that I maybe needed.
As I was going to say is, yeah, you probably didn't receive the kind of support you needed. And so then you're like, okay, whatever that is, I don't want that. I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think I did the same just around fear, maybe, or
Mm.
yeah, yeah. It's a strategy, right? To manage our childhood environment, probably.
Yeah. And maybe it was easier to do that than to potentially get rejected or hurt if I let someone in or
Yeah,
help me or
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. I agree.
Like
And
I
it's,
do think, there was the narrative part of it, but what it did to the body,
I know.
now you can feel energetically what it did to the body. And there
Yeah,
could be ample fear,
yeah,
understandably.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's nice. Nice talking with you about it. I feel kind of more at ease already. Just like, oh, it's okay if it comes up. Okay, fine.
Right. Yeah.
Fear, anxiety, or whatever it is. It's all right. I mean, I
Hmm.
kind of know that, and I've touched into it, but that's nice. Nice to hear that from you.
Yeah, it's nice to get a reminder. It's just like, yeah,
Yeah,
there's a reason why it's coming up.
yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Totally.
So like I'm with my sister right now, and I'm like super comfortable with her. So I
Mm.
could
Nice.
see that she interprets it as neediness, but I don't, I feel like so much of the neediness has been um able to purge or something or be
Mhm.
expressed. So
Yeah,
I don't interpret it as neediness, but there's a wanting of physical closeness. But
yeah.
she interprets it as like she makes fun of me and she's like, you're really
Right.
needy for someone who's like supposedly
Yeah.
away.
Oh, yeah. Right, right,
But
right.
like I don't care. It just feels
Yeah,
like the body is doing that. So it's like
yeah. And
fine to
you're
me.
you're at ease with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And maybe
doesn't matter.
she adopted a similar strategy to you. You had this,
Mhm.
but probably a similar childhood or whatever. Maybe that's her way of like, oh, identifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
see a lot of my certain sort of repressed traits in me. I can see them in my brother.
Mm,
Very similar, almost identical. I'm like, oh wow, wow, that's exactly what I do.
mhm.
Similar, same childhood. So
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it is kind of fascinating to like observe people now.
Yeah, like you said, it's all very so understandable.
Mhm.
I still get judgments about people sometimes.
Yeah.
But then also see exactly what you're saying. It's like, wow, that's of course it's like that.
Hmm.
Like, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to take any more time. I see everybody's got their hand up.
Yeah. Thanks so
Thanks,
much, man.
Suzanne.
That
Great
was
to
very
see
nice.
you.
Yeah, you
Happy
too.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Jazz.
Hi.
Hi. How you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's
I
been going on?
survived.
Oh,
I
you survived?
survived last time.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
It was hell, but yeah, I'm alive.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh my God. Just now I feel like I'm like back to square one. It's like it's silly. I feel like I'm like looking at what I'm resisting and what I'm not, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like,
Mhm.
why would I literally feel like I'm like back in the journey or something. I don't know. Um,
I remember feeling like that often though. It's because there's no it's hard to recall what happened before. So then it's like it's just
yeah,
this, and it makes sense that it would be the same patterns. Um,
yeah,
but it is different.
yeah, yeah. It's just, I mean, I just noticing that, that I've resisted everything in my life since the day I was born.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have like this jealousy of like people that are not on this path because I don't think they're in resistance like us. Or maybe me. I don't know. I don't I don't know if everybody is in this much resistance to life. Like I resisted everything. I resisted my parents. I resisted my childhood. I resisted my brother and sister. I resisted the way they talked. I resisted the way they acted. I resisted who they were. I resisted their jobs. I mean, I can't it was like it's just like all so clear, like that I've never was okay with anything in my life. Everything was resisted.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I am. Like that's and then like I saw like this claw. It was like a claw like in the middle of my stomach, just like like just resisting everything. Everything. I can't tell you. Like um
That
there's
actually
nothing I huh?
that actually makes sense though. I think that that is what creates the sense of a separate self.
Yeah, that's all that the me is.
Yeah.
It's just a pure resistance and it's so exhausting. Um it's the most I'm so over it. Like when you talk about like you have that. You don't have that anymore. Like and it could be missing inside. I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't wait for the day that I don't resist because I've been, there's like complete, all it is, it's like resistance and complete fear. That's all I am is
Mm.
I'm scared of this. I don't want this. I'm scared of this. Why did this happen to me? And it's like at such a high level, it both ends here. It's so disgusting. It's just, There's, I know nothing, it's going to stop when it stops or whatever, but it just was very clear to me that that's all we are,
Mhm.
and there's nothing more to it. It's just that. And I have this one story that's playing big time right now, um, that I feel in my body differently than other stories. It's hurting my bones, and I can't sleep for a couple nights. And thank God it's not like a fearful story. But it's a story that I think is huge on my identity, and it just kind of won't leave me alone, and I don't know what to do with it. I kind of usually know what to do with these things, and it's just like attacking me in every way. Um, it's the story that everybody depends on me,
Mm.
and it's been a long story in my life, and everybody does. So my mom, my dad, he passed away, but my mom, dad, my sister and brother, they all depend on me. Like if they're sick, I'm the baby, by the way.
Mm.
So if they're sick, if my brother's sick in the hospital, he'll be with my mom and call me.
Mm.
And I'll be like, why are you calling me? Like your mom is right there, you know? He's like, oh, I need you. I need you to come. And I'll go and I'll have to fix the problem.
Mm.
And then if let's say my sister's sick and my aunt finds out, they'll be like, oh my God, well, where's Jazz? And it's like, well, where's her mother? Why are you asking? It's about me. It's always there's always a dependency on me. And this Christmas, my cousin called to hang out with my sister. She's coming from out of town, and she asked me, you know, can we all hang out? And I said, no, I'm sorry, I'm working. And so they canceled it. So there's this dependency. Like if I'm not going to be there, they won't they won't make it happen. So there's this, and this is all my life. I've hated it from like the bottom of my guts
Mm.
because I've always felt obligated. Um, I've always felt like I have children, even though I don't. I've always felt someone was like sucking the life out of me,
Mm.
even though, or like they didn't give me a chance to have my own life. Like, so it's like a deep, um, like I got COVID on Christmas,
Mm.
and my mom asked me, oh, you think you could come see me in a couple weeks? I said, no, I have to work. She said, well, you just took a couple days off. I said, I was sick with COVID. I mean, so it's like this. I don't know if I'm making sense, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
like,
then it would really make sense why there's a resistance to everything. Like that, it's a huge burden to feel responsible for so many people's lives or
mhm,
happiness or
yes, yes. And my
it's
sister and
hard enough.
brother,
Yeah, it's hard enough to take care of this body, you know?
yeah, my sister and brother, alcoholics.
Mm.
My dad was alcoholic. So I'm the only, sober in the family. So if anybody needs anything, it's on me. You can do it. I was also, um, so I used to be a bank manager. So it's like, oh, any financial questions, right? Like
Mm.
ask me business questions, ask me. Everything is me. And the story is in my body in such an unusual way. And I don't know if you felt. like I've had a lot of purging and shaking and stuff throughout this whole time, but this one feels like it's in my muscles or like it's in my bones. And because I'm so upset about, I have so much, I have resistance, I guess, but it just,
Is it like hatred?
yes, I
Yeah.
hate them all.
I think it's a good thing. I think you need to give yourself permission to really hate and be cautious about what you say to them and stuff. It's not like you want to ruin the relationship, but like I think you need to feel the hate.
Yeah, I fucking hate them all. Like, just fucking leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, get away from me. Like,
Yeah.
leave.
Get
I mean,
away
I
from
can't.
me.
Yes. Like, I can't.
I'm
I
gonna
guess
mute
my.
people.
I guess my brother has something he needs my credit card for or something, and my mom calls me yesterday. I'm like, no, no, he's a grown man. Why do I? She said, oh, he has to move stuff from his storage. Well, I'm not I don't know why I, as a woman, have to move my brother's stuff in his storage.
Mm.
It's just constant, Suzanne, constant. Oh, I need an apple. Let me ask her. It's like, am I like not working? Do I have no life? Do I have, you know, and then it's like attitude too, like, oh, she doesn't want to do it. It's like,
Mm.
I don't even ask you guys anything, so there's a lot of, oh my God, I hate them all. I mean, it just, and it goes on. It's not just like my immediate family, it's like my cousins and my aunts. And, so it's just, if my aunt needs something, it's like, I don't, I want to just look at everybody and say, like, who told you, that it's okay for you to ask me
Oh,
these
I have
things?
yeah, yeah. So I was the same way. Um, I don't mean this in a bad way, but like people will they're not taking advantage of you, but like if they see that you're okay with doing stuff, they will ask. And they will get used to asking because they want to make their lives easier. And if someone is willing to do stuff for them, they will kind of like take advantage of it. And that is what happened to me too. And then I started getting so angry at people for not getting it. Like, hello, I have a life too, and I have so much to do. Why are you constantly asking me? But, and it only, I had to say no to like so much to then
Mm-hmm.
realize they stopped asking. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, but it like, so I said no to my cousin's thing, and then I got COVID, and she didn't even call and ask if I was okay. It's like they're mad at me because I couldn't make it to this situation. It's just, it's been bothering me. Like, I know I have to say no to all these things, but apparently I'm like this bitch if I do, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I guess I have to just keep saying no. And then, I'm the only one that's single that doesn't have a relationship. So, oh yeah, she doesn't have kids and stuff. So just dump it on her, And
Yeah, that was a big thought thing here as well.
and
But
we always wanted to have a relationship so I could run away. I could have like an escape. I even wanted to move so I
mm,
could just escape. That just never happened.
yeah.
But so I got the boyfriend. I got a little excuse for a little bit, and now he left. And now it's just dump on me again, you
Mm,
know? And the story is so, I want to kick everybody's ass. I swear to God, like I just want to like just how do I don't even bother people. I never ask people to do anything. I don't know where people like get the idea to bother people like that. You know, like
Totally. You
so
remind
this
me of yeah, my thought process. Um, but I think that so people have an image of you. People have an idea of who you are right now, and that's the a person that they can come to. Um, and you know, there might have been some pleasure for you to act in that role, but now it's like it's so obvious that it's a burden because you're exhausted. You just feel the tiredness of the body, and it's just like a no. So you're gonna disappoint people and they're gonna have to change their idea of you. And that might mean that they will think bad of you for a while, but you're not doing anything wrong. You're not, it's okay to disappoint them. It's okay to prioritize yourself and say no just because you want to be. You don't have to have a boyfriend. You don't have to have kids. You don't have to have a demanding job. You don't have to have anything to do. You're allowed to say no because you just want to watch something on TV. And you can
uh,
even say white lies, you know, if you want, because it's not
I
really
mean
real.
I mean I was so stressed that I don't have a boyfriend anymore and I can't make an excuse, but you just yeah, I could just say no, I don't want to, you know, like I could say those words. I've always been the person people could count on, but I really enjoy it emotionally. You know, if someone is going through something emotionally, the physical part, I never wanted, you know, but and I only do for my mom, you know, because my mom's older, and if she needs something, I got to do it, you know. It's just my mom,
Mm.
but it's just yeah. I mean, I just hate people.
I understand.
I
Yeah.
don't want to do what they want to do. I don't want to go out and party. I don't want to go out and go to dinner and do this. And I don't want to. I never wanted to all my life. I've
Mhm.
been this person that, you know, is like a loner that likes to just be alone. I don't fit in. I never have. I never will. Leave me alone. Stop making the party about me and go party. Go enjoy yourself and leave me to be, you know? And it's always this constant, oh, well, we're not going to go if you don't go. Well,
Mhm.
I'm faking it there anyways. I don't want to. I don't know where all this is coming up, but there's just all this like hate, and
Yeah. I
I
can
don't want to.
understand.
I don't want to do what other people want to do. I don't find happiness in going and sitting under. I don't know, whatever they go do. It's taxing on the body for me. It my energy gets depleted. Um, I don't want to drink. I don't. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
like, blah, you
I
know.
feel you.
It's
Yeah, I've
and I
definitely
just
felt everything you've just expressed. So,
like I'm unusual. I get it. Let me be. I don't bother them and say, hey, well, why don't you do this? You know, there's this strong hate inside. Why do people care? You know what I'm up to. I don't I don't judge them, or like I don't care that they're going out every single night and doing whatever they're doing. Like
yeah.
I, I
Because
don't know.
they think that it is important. They cannot see what you see or how you see it. So they do think it's important for you to socialize, for you to have that kind of life, and they think it'd be good for you maybe, or because I get those questions still too. It's like, so what else? Like, what else are you doing? And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, because they're all like, my friends too. It's like, oh, the bigger house and the better job and the this and there's nothing more here. There's nowhere to go, So um I'm just working, I'm just chilling and I don't
Yeah.
need to fix my body. I don't need to, go get a six pack. I don't there's no other thing. Yeah, it's really weird with the friends and I don't know what I'm really talking about, but all of it, I just want to be me. I just want to be me and I don't want to fake it anymore. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't stand going out and I don't want to go. Bye. It's I just can't say that or
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
think they get that when I go out, it's like exhaustion it's like, oh my God, I have to do this for them kind of feeling. I mean, I do if it's like my friend's birthday. Okay, fine. I do have fun when I'm there, but
it takes
it's
a
not
lot.
my Yeah, it's not my preference. I don't like it. And I never have. I never have. I've always been that weirdo that wants to be home.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I realize that's a story too. Like this person home, suffering, you know, um, dealing with all these emotions. It's like there's a story about it too.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm all over the place. I am all over the place. Stories are hitting me like crazy. Like every 5 minutes there's another story. And I'm like, oh my God. I feel dizzy from all the different stories. So I don't know, maybe just cut me off. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
You know what I did notice? It's I don't want you to prevent you from feeling the hate because I do think that it's important that you do. Like you really just allow yourself to be there because most people will tell you like, "Oh, you shouldn't feel that. That's really bad." So I want to give you full permission like that's okay and that's how I felt about people too. It didn't last forever, but I needed to feel that. But I do think that once the emotional charge of that dissipated, I did see how it wasn't really the case, not completely. I did see how, in their own way, even if it was diluted, in their own way, they did care. They did kind of want, um, either they just wanted to see me, and I was able to, this took a lot of time though. I was able to see, like, oh, they genuinely just want to see me. And there was kind of a recognition of like maybe it wasn't all about trying to use me, but it makes sense that you would interpret it that way because there's so much hatred and anger and like enough is enough because I've lived my whole life giving and giving and giving and I'm depleted. So it makes sense that everything or a lot of things would be interpreted that way. And I'm not saying they're not doing that. They're to a good degree that could be there because they're expecting you to say yes and to do certain things for them. I'm not saying you're wrong in that. You're probably right.
No, you're right. My sister called me yesterday and she said my cousin said to her, I'm surprised that Jazz didn't want to see me. And I was like, wait, that's what she wanted? She wanted to see me? But to me, it was like, oh, you're obligating me with like this. And then my mom was asking me to come out and she was like, your sister really misses us. And I was like, oh, they miss each other. It's like second nature for me because I'm so pissed about if one more thing comes on me, it's like
Yeah.
automatically I'm triggered,
Hmm.
But you're right. I was thinking about that last night. I'm like, oh my God, these people miss each other. And I was like, I don't really miss people. I don't like people. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest.
I know.
I don't like communicating with people. I don't like talking to people. The energy drains me.
Yeah.
Um, I am the most healthiest and happiest when I'm alone.
Hmm.
But yeah, we don't want to be that alone where, like you were feeling that you were dying kind of alone. We want to have more, interaction. But I don't like it. I don't like talking to people. My sister calls me sometimes and wants to talk for like hours on the phone, and I'm exhausted after. I can't do it. It's too much for me. But you're right. You're right. It's innocent. It's innocent, and I think that I'm so sick and tired of everybody putting their shit on me that I can't see the sweetness of it. All I see is, oh my God, you fucking need something again. But yeah, I guess I gotta feel that anger, and it's in my, I can't catch it or something. It's like everywhere. It feels like a loose cannon or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta work on that. I don't know what to do with it. It's very
Well,
spread
yeah.
out.
Yeah, the only way it's gonna burn is if it's full on here and it's not comfortable. It's not like you want it to be here, but it's here. And I remember, yeah, I had days where I really was furious at my mom and, a couple other different people. It wasn't it it was just anger and hatred, and it was alarming, but that's the only way that it burns.
Yeah, well, I hate everybody right now, and I think yeah, I just, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not coming up to the surface because it could ruin relationships and it's like scary.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'll just
Yeah. I mean, I was
let
aware
it
of
be.
that too. I didn't want to ruin it. If I needed to say something, then like meaning it was gnawing at me for a long time, I was like, okay, maybe I need to say something. But otherwise, I would just complain to other people so that because you kind of know, um, yeah, you don't want to just like spew it out at the person. That's not necessarily necessary, but
Yeah.
um it makes sense how you feel. It really does. Um, People are really difficult to deal with. Like when they're so lost in all of that stuff, they will spew at you how you should be, what you should do, what's important, what matters. It's a lot, It's just like, whoa, can't we just be? And it's not possible for them.
It's like judgment, all over the place,
Hmm.
and it's exhausting. But luckily, my friends are not that judgmental, and it's just my family obligation that just, gosh, I've wanted to run away from this from such a young age.
Mm.
And it's just, yeah, it's so embedded. It's such a big story of my life, like there's this resistance to shit, and then there's this side by side, the story that's so heavy, and all these fears. And I just feel like I'm getting hit by one of them every day, just boom, 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 boom. And it's just like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to take any more time, but yeah, thank you. It's anger. We got it. I gotta scream in my bedroom in my pillow right now.
Yeah.
It's like, leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I realized that I didn't want to be responsible for other people's burdens anymore,
Oh,
Like just when I was younger, there was a story of like family is the most important thing. I will do anything for them. I will die for them. And I overburdened myself. I took on everyone's stuff. And then they got used to it. So then I took on more stuff. And then and then there came a point where I really just felt like, okay, I cannot do this. And the only way I could get some perspective is like leaving it. And even though I did that, years later, I still had this much anger. So I can understand why it might be a lot for you if you've
yeah.
never taken that
No,
time to really just like leave.
no, I have the same story as you. I so I left it in 2018, I think, or 19. I was like, everybody fuck off. That's it. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to, you need an apple. I'm not there. And stopped talking to my family for like 2 years.
Mm,
Um, and then I was like, okay, it's all about boundaries, and I
mm,
came back and would set boundaries. So I have some, I mean, it's so much better than it used to be. It was a disaster. They would shit on me every day. And they were like, even to financially support me, they wanted me to support. It was ridiculous. It was so bad. I mean, I can't even tell you. It was really bad. So yeah, no, it's so much better now. But then this last week, it all like kind of showing up, like leftover shit that I obviously um didn't I mean, I have to let out. I have to release. And it's showing up. So yeah, I no, I did like there was a point where I was like, I just can't. This is just killing me.
yeah.
But been a process, and it's not that easy to it's easier to say no, but the guilt around the no, and the not understanding why they think that way is what pisses me off. It's like,
Mm,
what bothers me the most is that my mom is self-employed as well, like me, works 7 days a week and can't do anything. She doesn't go to family events. She works seven, like workaholic. And she's telling me, oh, why can't you take a day off? Well, why don't you take a day? You know,
mm,
so and she's been like that for like 20 years.
mm,
No events, no, she can't take a day off. No one says anything to her.
mm,
But I'm like, yesterday I was like, Mom, you're asking me and you're doing the same thing? Like,
mm.
I don't get it. That's the audacity of these people. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God. I don't know. And it's in my bones. I feel it. It's so, I don't know. I need to stop talking. But okay. Um,
No.
yeah, yeah. It's just thank you so much. It's just a bunch of anger, and it looks like we've been through kind of the similar,
Yeah.
we're just
I
like
feel
nice
you.
people.
It's it's not easy. Like, um, there's so many stories around it. Like, okay, how a girl should be, your needs aren't as important. It's okay to suppress yourself. It's okay to overwork and um like there are all these narratives that we were fed and it's a lot. There is a reason why we accepted all of that and it was so hard to say no. I I literally felt like I would rather die than to say no and to feel the guilt of that. That's
Yeah.
how like intense it was here. So that's why it went on. And how can I blame myself? It was just that's how I was raised and conditioned. And um, in a way, you're doing great.
You
It's not
know,
easy.
then my relationship in a way came in, and it was like one-sided, like where the burden was on me. But it wasn't like a bad burden, but there was like this that it woke me up again, like, oh, here I am again in this story, right? There's this story of I'm burdened. It's like one-sided. There's this one, everything's dumped on me kind of feeling. And it's who I am. It is the core of this being. Um, and I just want to break it fucking open. I just want to fuck. I'm so sick of this shit. I mean, I can't tell you. I mean, it's everywhere, you know? It feels that it's, you know, my friend texted me yesterday. He was like, "Hey, can you help me find an apartment?" And I looked at the text. I was like, "Who the fuck am I for you to text me?" For you to text me that. But I mean, he maybe needed help. But I was just automatically like, "Oh, here we go. Here we go." And it's like, oh, in my relationship, I'm like that. My family relationship, my friendships, I'm like that. And oh man, my brain's gonna, I'm gonna explode. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Mm,
And then if I'm scared of something, it's everywhere. I'm noticing it's just everywhere. It's all over.
yeah.
It's the core. It's who I am. It's this. I don't know. I don't know. But
I know.
it's great to talk about this, and I don't want to take any more time. But I
Yeah.
don't know how to penetrate through this thing. But it's I'll figure it out. It's just anger. I gotta go scream in my pillow or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. The only way is through.
Yeah.
Everyone will tell you otherwise, but the only way is through.
Yes, I know. Thank you so much, Suzanne. I
Okay.
really just needed to vent, I
I
guess, to
know.
somebody.
I
Thank
know.
you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Love you, Jazz. You're doing
Love
great.
you too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So I think it's really brave that that was shared because that's what it's not as simple as this, but like a lot of that is what keeps separation like really real because we're so averse to admitting to that. Um, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people feel similarly, but it's just it's so painful to admit that that's there. So it's actually really brave and beautiful. It's rare. Um, yeah. Hey, Logan.
Hi, Suzanne, and hi, everyone.
Oh, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. Yeah, yeah. I joined last time was my first of these group meetings, and they're really nice. It feels like a little oasis of sanity.
Mhm. Nice.
Um, yeah, I raised my hand, I guess, because I felt a lot of fear of doing so. Um, Being in this particular environment, I find just like brings up all my neuroses just like so presently. Um, yeah, something about like being in the spotlight, being kind of exposed,
Hmm.
or it sort of feels like there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's beautifully uncomfortable, eh? Yeah, so nothing in particular needs to be said. You're welcome to just sit here and just, it's not you that's noticing what's happening, but yeah, a noticing just happens. And anything is welcome to arise.
So lovely also, like being seen.
You said lovely?
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yeah.
Which is not what I expect at all. If it's like 1 second in the future, I'm projecting like all this fear and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I can just feel all my like fear coming up about not being enough.
Mm. Yeah. Let that be there, just as it is. It doesn't need to change. It doesn't need to go. You're not owning it. It just is. Yeah, the ironic thing about this stuff is like there's actually nothing to do with it. It's just here. And it needs to be allowed to be here. You know, it's not wrong. It's not bad. It doesn't define anything.
Yeah, that's one thing nowadays is that there's like so much less judgment about all of this. Um,
Yeah, that's nice. That's what this is more about. It's like it doesn't matter what arises. That was never a marker of anything. It's more the the natural okayness that it is the way it is, that it's complex to be a human. It's hard to be a human, you know.
I feel myself also like wanting to be found as good enough.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
you are good
right. Hmm. That's kind of a revolutionary thought.
Well, if nothing defines you, if you are nothing in particular, and this is just what it is, the meaning that you put onto certain feelings or resistances or fears, that meaning isn't actually what it is. That helps us interpret things and describe things, but it's equally just what it is. If nothing needs to go, nothing needs to change, you're not responsible for anything that arises. It's just there if it's there. You know, that too is equally beautiful life appearing that way.
Yeah, it's weird. Like there seems to be this strange disconnect between, I don't know, like the human stuff versus like um, just this. And like intellectually, I know that there can't be any separation there, but it really like feels like there is one. And so, like whenever the just sort of like beingness of everything and nothing comes into view, it's like so clear that um, like what could possibly be wrong. Um, but yeah, then you know when I'm more like in the contracted self, it's like yeah, and it seems like the two don't like they don't feel connected somehow.
Yeah. In a way, I would say the tension that you feel is just a good indicator of what might still be held on to. So it's not a bad thing if it arises.
Mm.
It just indicates like, okay, there's some belief here or importance here. And how can that be bad? It's not bad.
Mm.
But deeply what we want is, I guess, just freedom, like peace, and not to internally fight. So then, yeah, we can speak about it or just question it. Like, what is this actually about? But never with the real thought of like it needs to go or it needs to change, because it's that can also be here too. Um, but that human, what we call this human dream to be or become, to create, to express. Yeah, it doesn't need to be suppressed.
Yeah, I feel like it's not really being suppressed for the most part, which is really good.
Mm.
Uh, but then it is, I guess, judged or like which to be different sometimes.
Mm. Is there something in particular?
Hmm. And I guess I wish that it didn't feel so small. Um, that I didn't feel like I need to be other than I am. I think it's a lot about at least one part of it is, I don't know, feeling like I need to be really big, make a big like impact, do enough good kind of for the world, like be enough, spread myself far enough, wide enough in the world to like be a really good, I don't know, force impact. Um, and I guess I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that, or at least it makes sense. And I mean, who knows? Maybe some part of that is possible in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does it make you feel scared at the thought of that, or kind of like excited?
Hmm. I mean, more excited.
Hmm.
Um, maybe kind of scared too, but like exhilarated, I guess. um,
Because I think it's beautiful to share, just without the expectation of what it should become. It's more about the pure expression.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah. That's nice to notice the distinction between like the pure expression versus the expectation. Um, yeah, because the expectation is like what starts to feel like sick inside.
Yeah, there's a heaviness, a burden.
And it feels also almost like the potential to do harm. If I'm coming from that expectation of needing to be something.
Yeah, it's a strange thing when um, I'm not saying that this is right, but I feel like this is where this has landed for now, I guess, is I don't think the attention is in the impact for other people. Like if it's actually helping other people, I think it's a byproduct. I think I think it's like, oh, it is nice. It's not that I dismiss it completely. It's like it's an after effect or afterthought of like, oh, that's really nice that people resonated or like it helped them in some way. But I think always what I come back to, like the primary is what do I want to say? What really wants to be said here? And whenever I think about another person or speaking for another person, sometimes that can work if it's like a particular topic. I don't think that's bad. But I think if it's too much and I lose touch with what genuinely wants to be expressed here or what's true here, um, it doesn't feel good. It does not feel good. It's like I'm removed from myself. I'm not like here.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the most beautiful things that people can do is like just purely be themselves.
Mm. Just suddenly sort of noticed my like expectation or hope of this becoming something, like, I don't know, the destination or whatever.
Mm.
Yeah. um,
What's this? What do you mean by this becoming something?
oh, I don't know, like where all this is heading, or where I imagine it could be heading, or by this I mean, I don't know, the unraveling of identity and all that.
Mhm.
Um,
As like a collective, you mean?
just for myself.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, it is fascinating. Yeah, it's strange. It's not in a big way, but what's more interesting, if I can call it that, is what's unfolding here, what's happening here. And there's naturally less interest about what's happening there.
hmm.
Um, you think there's anything in particular that you want to share? That you would like to share?
Hmm. I don't think anything else for now.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks, everyone, for
Yeah.
listening. Um, yeah. I guess what I'm working with right now is just no, it's a little hard to explain what I'm trying to say, but like not putting it in the future. Um, yeah, but yeah.
Not putting what in the future? Anything?
uh, like the enlightenment project or whatever.
Mm.
Because there's like a consistent narrative about like a process that's happening. And then yeah, just like a almost like a commentary on like everything that's happening. Because I mean, lately I've been just having a lot of like energetic kind of stuff and just like really being in the body and the senses. And then there's like a commentary about how like, oh, this is good, like this is all this stuff being processed. Um, but kind of implicit in that is this idea of where it's heading. And I don't know, maybe that's not a problem at all. But it does, I think it can separate me a little bit from really fully just in, like being here. Because there also can be a certain amount of like terror of like really just being here.
Yeah, if that was the only thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think there is some fun in the expectation of what's happening and um, the meaning to it.
Mhm.
So yeah, that is part of what disappears. Um, yeah, the relating to it in any way, it loses its importance or specialness.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's very strange, different way of functioning, but it's also not as extreme as one might imagine. It's quite ordinary too.
Yeah. I mean, so far it's been really nice just to notice and kind of be like my genuine reactions to things rather than like all the I don't know what how I think I should be reacting or um but I really had no idea was even happening. So that's something I'm just kind of discovering. It's like, yeah, meeting my genuine self sort of.
Mm. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, I want to let the next person go.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks so
Yeah.
much for
Thank
sharing.
you.
It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Hey, Chris.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Um, yeah, I don't think I have a lot to share today. Kind of forgot what I wanted to say originally, but um, I don't really think it mattered that much. But yeah, I did want to share like last month. Um, I applied for a promotional role as a senior project manager role, and I've been with the company now for a couple years now, and I've been a pretty high performer, and so like I mean everything should have led to me getting it, and so like I really kind of became attached to that idea and that title and the label, um and for a while I just kind of like started to believe that I was just going to get it. You know, I was one of the most senior people there. I mean, there's just no reason why they wouldn't give it to me. um and Yeah, and then my director called and told me that I didn't get it, and my heart just fucking sank. Like
Mm.
I was like, my God, like I don't get anything anymore. Like and this would have come with such a substantial raise, and so that would have alleviated a lot of the insecurities around money right now, um, and it was just so devastating. And the devastation just lasted for like 2 days straight, and it was just awful. Um, but the one thing he said, the reason why he didn't give it to me was because he said that I need to think more before I speak, and that I need to be a little bit more politically correct in my communications. And I mean, that's something I've always struggled with, and especially now. I mean, like I just say whatever's on my fucking mind.
Mm.
And there have been a few times over the past year where my communication was just spit out, and it wasn't really, I really didn't think about like how it could come across, or how it could make somebody feel. It just all seems so innocent to me. Like, why do I need to do this? Like, why do I need to? But I do. I mean, I do understand, but it's hard for me to do anything like that. It's always been, I guess. But
Like be cautious about
so
what you say.
yeah, yeah, to be cautious about what you say, for sure.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that was just kind of devastating. But
Mm.
after a while, I was just actually kind of, I don't know, in a way, almost, I was kind of glad that I didn't get it, because it would have came with a lot more responsibility too. So
Mm.
I just don't know if I could handle a lot more responsibility right now. But it
Yeah.
just
Oh.
feels like the whole world is just so perfectly adapted at maintaining this illusion of separation that it just seems impossible to escape it. Like it seems too radical to even think that it could be escaped. I mean, it's everywhere. It's so supported. And it feels like if it was gone and was no longer believed in, that I would be unsupported by the world.
What do you mean by that? You would be unsupported if
Because I wouldn't be a part of their gang. I wouldn't be part of their
oh,
belief system. I wouldn't be supporting them in their beliefs, or this idea of separation, and so I guess, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be needed anymore. I wouldn't be, um, there's just been so much pushing away of friends and people, and I'm talking a lot about this in the early beginning, kind of like just scared people off. Like nobody wanted to hear this. Um,
mm.
so it just feels, it just feels like it's just always going to be a very lonely path. It's not like I'm just, it feels impossible to give this up. Um, I mean, I have children, and um, I have my job, and I have to work with people on a daily basis, and it's just this constant supporting of this sense of separation. And anytime like I sense I'm buying into it, or it catches, it just creates such an awful sense of just being, just very unsettling sense. I don't even know if I can call it an emotion anymore, but it's obvious when it catches, like, and it's always, because it always comes like,
Mm.
um, But I don't know. I mean, it does feel like it's gotten better. I feel like for a while, like I was having a lot of body twitches and things, but I think that's kind of alleviated a little bit. My body, I think, probably generally overall kind of feels a little less unsettled, but only really when the story catches and I get caught up in it. And it just seems like there's going to be an endless amount of stories. You know, I mean,
Well, I do think that having um a normal job is probably, I can understand the difficulties. It must be really difficult because you're constantly exposed to uh fakeness, pretend, and
yeah,
it's hard for you to do that. So
yeah,
yeah, they will look at you potentially like a little weird, or want you to play along, not understand where you're coming from. Um, it's difficult.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that is difficult to because it does feel like everyone is just, I mean, like everyone's trying to be a team player or appear as though they have the best interest of the company, and it's so obvious to me that everyone's just out for their own best
Yeah.
interest. Like no one really fucking cares. But you can't say that. Like you can. There's like but that's just what's to be expressed here. Like I just want to. Like I really don't give a shit about working on a. I don't care about being a fucking team player. I really don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Um, but because I think my whole life I tried to appear being a team player, tried to be. I played sports my entire life, and so that made me a professional at being a team player. It was just all such bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, after he told me that too, I mean, the fear of like losing my job entirely came up, and like, oh God, maybe they see me differently than I thought. Maybe they don't really think I'm valuable. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's just with a job like a corporate job, especially, there's just so much politics and political correctness, and
Yeah, for sure. It is like putting on a mask when you go to work.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I really wish I didn't have to go to work just so I didn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would so love to just like win the lottery and sit here all day reading a book or reading David Carr's or
Yeah.
um, yeah, yeah, that money insecurity is a bitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that is one of the difficulties of this is um in a way you can be so okay just being, and yeah, it's unfortunate that the reality is we have to make money and sustain ourselves. Um, yeah, and sometimes it becomes difficult. Yeah, I know my friend struggles a lot, and it becomes more and more obvious. Like people are telling you just how to be and what's right and wrong and how you should be. And uh,
Yeah,
it just makes sense that you would just look at it like insanity.
it makes me wonder too, like whether I should even like I mean, in a corporate world, you're like expected to move up, and continually chase promotions, and the people who remain stagnant are usually let go at some point. So there's that too. Like, do I really? I really don't. I really don't want to get promoted. I just don't want to lose my job or my source of income, and it's actually relatively nice because I work from home, and I don't have to work around, be actually around people. I have to talk to them all day, but I don't actually have to be right in front of them. So it's actually really nice, and I can take a break whenever I want. But yeah, it's just like, do I like my director is constantly calling me now, like giving me constructive feedback, and I'm trying to I'm trying to put off the sense that I care, and I really don't. Like, it's just all just this fear of losing my source of income. Um, I just don't know how you could live without that. Like,
Live without what? Pretending a little bit, or the source of income.
that too, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that making money is, I don't think opposite is the right word, but it,
It's not natural.
yeah, there's a lot of, because there's an exchange going on. For your money, you have to bring value. So it is kind of like, it's difficult, but
Maybe it's not natural, but our, our attachment to it isn't natural, that's for sure. Or our worry about it isn't natural.
yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
I
still
know.
excited about the retreat in March. I'm counting down the day.
Yeah.
Um, but
But
anyway.
I get I understand. It's, yeah, the
Well,
movie.
I will need you, Suzanne, if I ever do lose my job.
Am
I'll be
I supposed
bawling
to
like
be
a
your
baby.
employer?
I'll just need you for emotional support.
Okay. Yeah, I hope that
Uh,
doesn't happen. I mean,
I know, me too. It is a worry for sure, but and it is seen that it could potentially be a possibility. I mean, it always is, but it's just it's so unknown what's
mhm.
gonna happen.
But I mean, you have that much experience, and to train someone else, it takes a lot of money for them too. So,
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. All right, well, I'll let you go.
yeah. Yeah, I want to say sorry about the non-promotion, but also I can understand the not wanting more responsibility and not even caring about a
Yeah,
higher role. And
yeah. I just wanted the more money. I didn't really want the role.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, but I've been thinking I really need to find a second source of income. But man, that would just be so much energy. So much energy to have a secondary source of income.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's tricky.
All right. Thank you, Suzanne.
Thanks for sharing, Chris.
Yep.
Yeah,
Have a good New Year.
yeah, you too. Money, money, money. Yeah. Yeah, there are definitely difficulties with this that aren't discussed that much. Like, for sure, it's like you suffer less internally, and that can be nice. Um, but the motivation and energy to get is naturally not as high. Yeah, I guess you can get savvy, like, yeah, it's a whole big topic on its own. It's challenging.
Make a video about it.
About money, the struggles of, yeah. It is a great topic. Yeah. All right. I hope everyone has a lovely New Year's. And yeah, thanks for coming. Bye.
Bye.